Conference will now be recorded.
All right, well, just because he accidentally didn't hit the button, the meeting was called to order at 5:37 of the Monterey Select Board on Thursday, May, what's the date?
It's not May usually.
Sorry, March 5th, 2026.
It's a lot of things we done with the budget.
I wouldn't be sitting here.
Susan Cooper, Fred
You got a
Abbott,
plan.
President Person and Justin May Cook present remotely, and the Finance Committee also just called their meeting to order with Steve Pullen and Jeff Zimmerman present. Sorry, I had a moment.
I've never had a moment. The
I
last
know you
20
have.
minutes.
So the first thing up is the joint meeting with the Finance Committee. Do you have anything in particular on that?
The only thing we have changed, I did make some adjustments to the free cash and stabilization list, so we know what our free cash.
How much is the free cash?
The free cash is $367,829. That's in free cash.
Okay.
And so, I went into the spreadsheet, which is on the working budget, spreadsheet we have, it's the second tab in. And, just zoom in here a second.
Should we give him a round of applause when Roger walks in?
What is the meaning of use free cash when you get there?
Okay. So I know it's a little hard to see, but, so what I did in this list, I put in some of the numbers that we know and some of the numbers that, we've heard from the different departments looking for dollars outside of their operational budget. We also reached out to the bank and got our, the upcoming minimum, the minimums. Yep. So the NPL or MLP they call it, which is really just shows us what our note is that is, it's coming to an end, and then what we'll have to then get the note for next year. So these numbers here came off that sheet. So these numbers here on the FY27 requested came off of that sheet. And that's how we usually, we usually do that. I think I might have to put, the only thing I think I'm missing in there are the,
Did you see,
What's the select?
Tom
board
Metsy's
change?
email today?
Whose email?
Tom Metsy,
Right,
Lombardo.
about Lombardo. Well, that wouldn't be on
It
here.
wouldn't be on there, but he has.
So the
line
only
for
thing-
Lombardo.
the only thing I have to make an adjustment on this is I haven't added the interest to this yet, so through free cash. So the interest just isn't on this list here. Do we actually pay that through free cash?
The interest is usually on the warrant as interest in the regular
Yeah,
line
yes.
items.
Right.
Yeah, it's usually principal.
Let me just double check that, because I would just come a little confused.
Sometimes you divide it up among, you may take some
Yeah.
for free cash or something like that, depending.
Yeah,
on
so
the
that's,
number.
yes, that's carried here. So these are the, so over on this side here, on the budget and debt service, these are the numbers that we got from the bank.
Mhm.
These are the numbers that are,
Those are the required
the
payments.
required payments, $70,950, $17,905 is the interest on that. Then $25,000 towards the tandem axle and $1,235 for interest, $20,000 towards the highway truck, $2,234 in interest, $16,125 towards the rescue vehicle, and interest $4,819. And so with respect to free cash, these are extra dollars that we put towards those against the principal, that we've kind of historically done that.
As it stands now, the 367 will go down, the Susan was asking to what?
Well, if I get everything, if everything in here is covered with free cash, we end up with an extra of $83,303.67 in free cash. After all those, if we use free cash to do all of
Yeah,
that.
but I just mentioned, you, on your last line there, line 15, the Lombardo, you have 10,000.
Yep.
Tom Metsy wrote a email today, I want to say it was $71,000 for the request after they went through.
I think it was 51 or 54. Give me a
Can
second.
you just send it to us through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It came
Here it
in
is.
probably about 4 o'clock.
the total was 58.
So you're looking for 58.
OTO work, I'm not sure what OTO stands, I guess that's the engineering firm,
Yeah.
is 10K. Additional OTO work to clean 100 cubic yards of non-hazardous material, no mass permit required, 20K. Tree work, removal and trimming, consult with Kevin West, 2 days work, $7,000. Decommissioning of 2 wells, $20,000 for a total of 58. Use of Monterey's Public Works Department equipment and personnel will be used wherever possible for cost containment. It says men, but I refuse to use the word men in this case, sorry, even though they're currently all men, I'm offended. So,
Never know.
I'm not really offended, but I'm not gonna
So-
accept that.
I'll zip my lip.
Yeah.
So,
Staff.
so that's where we are. I also,
Hours? I know.
That's why they take so darn long.
I know why you gotta get straight to the nerve.
I also went through and found some other, entered in some other numbers, like our general stabilization fund has $712,369 in it. Our chapter 90 funds are $1,045,810. Our OPEB trust currently has $226,363, and our community development block grant is $180,456. I just received a letter from the state about chapter 90 funds, and the governor's put forward a bill to add 1.2 billion over the next 5 years. So they're putting,
To chapter 90.
to chapter 90. And so, if that passes July 1, there'll be an additional, I think it was 353,000 that'll be added into that. So that, I just got that letter today.
Okay, the question I got is education.
Well, you know, we got,
You saved the worst for last.
there was a memo that came out.
Yeah, and I was reading that.
I reached out to, our representative, Kim Alcantara, and she said that, that letter, that memo was put out without the knowledge of the finance committee or the school committee, knowing what was happening.
So you must have read the Marlboro email about behavior of the meeting.
So they're saying that, that memo we should not really
Well,
look at this point in time, and that it was done sort of on the side without any conversation with any other departments. With those two things I said, the finance committee and
yeah, because they were saying the labor would go up approximately 18.4%.
yeah,
So.
so it's hard
what
to
is it? Don't
understand.
look at the man behind the curtain?
I'm not quite certain who, you know, I know that in talking to Kim, that their feeling is that that was inappropriate to send out, and it doesn't represent what's really going on with the school budget at this point in time. And that,
Have you talked to Kim?
Yeah, I talked to Kim today. Yeah,
Okay.
and that's what she said.
She's the vice chair, right?
I
Or think she, yeah.
she's the chair now. I don't remember what
So
she is.
ignore it, but she didn't have any response
He
to
said
whether
that-
or not they have actually located the documents they allude to not having.
So she said that, all I can say is that that document was put out without
Okay,
general
did she say
knowledge.
when she would have a number for us?
They said that it wouldn't be due on the 15th, they would have it by the 18th.
Of what month?
Year?
Thank you.
Yeah. Of March.
2026, right?
Yes.
Did you get that in writing?
I was on the phone, so.
My
Yeah.
concern
I mean,
is that,
if she doesn't respond to my email, please she talks to you.
my concern is that if that memo, whether it went through those two committees or not, which is alluding to not having a bunch of documents that were the foundation of last budget, is also saying they don't think they have money in the budget to pay the current personnel through the current school year,
Mhm.
which is FY 26.
Mhm.
That is an answer we need to
Yeah, but-
have, like, right now, because if she's implying that the people, I mean, what is the implication? That it's true, but they didn't tell us about it? That it isn't true, that
But
they,
even if you cut the number in half, it's a huge number.
well, and to not have the money in the current budget
Yeah,
for
but
the
you know,
current
they're
school
supposed
year?
to, they're supposed to do an audit every year.
I think she's saying that the money is there, it was just a misunderstanding of where the money is. And that
Okay.
they will have everything
How do you
taken
lose
care of.
millions of dollars?
Okay,
And then it's just, it was a
Susan, can
memo.
I speak?
please, sorry,
Great,
Justin.
I spoke with Kim earlier today, and my sense of the situation is that we shouldn't jump to any conclusions at quite yet. They are going through, I would call a little bit of a rocky transition between superintendents. They've brought the old superintendent back as a consultant to rectify differences between the 25 and 26 budget or something of that nature. And the new superintendent's trying to make sense of it. They've hired a company to help with the budgeting, but maybe, in the next week or two, let's make sure we stay on top of it. But to me, it sounds like there's too many unknowns right now to really jump to any conclusions.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad you got that as thorough a answer back. That at least reassures me that they're aware that there are issues and that they're trying to rectify them. Anything else, Justin? Your hand's still up.
Non-school related, I had some
Okay.
questions,
Go for it.
only if we're done with school. John, I know John Halbright and Frank are both on the Lombardo committee. Could anyone speak to breaking down the 58,000? I see.
Susan had it on the email.
Yep.
Well, I see the
Did you get-
breakdown, but
Okay.
what is $20,000 for decommissioning 2 wells? And is it also true that the $20,000 of additional OTO work is only contingent upon it being needed?
That's right. That's only, it's contingent only if we need it.
And what about the wells? What do you know about decommissioning 2 wells?
You have to decommission them. Tom was supposed to get the cost of that, but he talked to the health department. They have to be decommissioned, the wells.
And what's involved in doing that?
I think you actually physically pull the pipe out. And
I think they fill them.
Now I think the septic can be filled after you pull the lines out of the septic and you empty it. That's what I thought was done.
But, so those are estimates, but we don't actually know.
Yeah,
what
we don't
that-
have
coming at,
some of the
right?
firm
Okay.
prices. The only thing
Great.
firm we have right now is to do a deeper study, which he attached that proposal.
11K.
Yeah, he attached the proposal to his email today. And that proposal is recent.
Right. Anything
Frank,
else on that, Justin?
Yeah, could you make sure that you run it by town council as well? Because there are technically seasonal water rights associated with the other properties that are abutters, I believe.
Okay, I'll run it by Donna, because I'm talking to her about the easement on the property too.
And I just wonder, I can see the reasoning behind going for the full 58,000, even though some of it's only contingency. We will eventually need that amount of money, no doubt.
Right,
But depending on how the rest of our budget, how the chips fall, we might need to cut out that $20,000 contingency.
no, I understand. I think they understand, but we thought we'd give the list on something that we could do in 1 year. And those are doable, but like everything else is you gotta know the bottom line before you sign off on extras.
Anything else?
That's it for now.
Okay. On the budget or on Lombardo or both?
With the budget itself, I haven't made any changes from where we originally were the last time,
On the operating budget?
on the operating budget. We're waiting next Tuesday, we'll have, fire in, Chris and Sean will have them in. And,
Even with no changes, it's up to 12. It was lower last time I was looking at this. What changed?
that's because I changed the, salaries for fire after our conversation, we were having
I
a
see.
conversation.
Okay.
So I put the salaries back.
Is that 6 people done?
Yep.
Roger, I think I might be able to help you with the budget.
Okay,
I think the additional full-time officer that we discussed not doing it for the police department is still in.
yes, I have all those still in there, so I know it had been discussed, but I don't think it had all been decided to actually remove it. I know we had talked about it when Brian was here, so I left it in there.
Okay.
But if you're all in agreement, or it's, you want me to remove that, I can remove it.
The extra officer?
Yeah.
I think we have to remove it.
Me
We
too.
need the most recent numbers. I think, we've had the discussion. I wish we could do it, but I don't think this is the year to do it.
Do you know if, have you spoken to Brian about whether he's had conversations with, New Marlboro and Otis Police Department chiefs about whether they might be able to work out
I haven't
some
yet.
type of
I'll
IMA
talk to him.
to
Yeah,
cover for each other?
I'll talk to him about it.
Because I think working on a formal IMA for this would make a lot of sense. Did you hear me, Justin? Wow. Did you hear that, Justin?
Yes.
Okay.
We do have to be sensitive to things like how many shifts people are doing. This morning's end-to-end breakfast, Officer Brown mentioned to me she's doing 8 shifts in 1 week. So it's like 8 days and 7. So we have to be,
They have,
they
they do have an ad out for another officer, but until they have one hired,
Yeah,
that,
it reaches a point where you can.
but the, yeah, it is
Safety
out,
issues.
it's been out for.
I still don't understand the whole, authorization to have this 11 to 8, or was it 8 to 11?
8 to 12.
8 to
8
12?
AM to 12 AM.
I don't see why the select board couldn't decide what the number of hours of coverage should be if we don't have enough people to cover it. It seems like it's a policy decision, not really a budget necessarily.
It's not a budget.
But if the
it's
chief
what
says
has to-
it has to be that, or no, it's gotta be that many hours, I can't do any less.
Are you suggesting
I'm
we
saying we don't need to cover the
to
town
cover
that
it
much.
to do that permanently, or to do it until we have a third
It can-
officer on?
Yeah, no, not permanently, if need be, if 3 people can do it, still seems like a stretch doing 3 people, that much coverage. But it seems to me that the chief is making a decision about how much coverage. I don't get it. It's a management decision, and.
It is a management decision.
It's
I mean,
not-
I think it's a previous management decision, and what you're raising is whether we need to revisit it.
Absolutely, because, it just seems like it's predicated. It could have a floating schedule. Let's say, maybe they don't do it the same all the time. So it's unpredictable when there's gonna be an officer on duty or not. So we don't wanna become predictable. Say, oh yeah, don't worry about Monterey. Every Tuesday they have everybody on, but it could still be rotating something, but the number of hours don't have to be so excessive. And having 2 people do that just really is not, I don't get it. I just can't. It
Well,
means
until we get a
taking
third person on.
responsibility and explaining to the town, explain the sentence. We want to have 3 full-times to cover those many hours, but it's not possible. So I don't know. I just feel like, it's not my responsibility, it's yours.
No, I think it's a good question to, Brian, can we reduce the number of hours and what would that look like?
And there may be certain days that are prime days, like Fridays and Saturdays, you have more drunk drivers or whatever, or holidays.
Whatever they are,
On
which we don't know, but
We
they
don't
will.
know, but there may be days that tend to be slow at night.
I just think having this concrete, it's gotta be 7 days, it's just not.
I get the 7 days more than the number of hours a day. I mean, I think we might be able to change the number of hours a day. But to think, well, nobody ever has a problem on Sundays.
Well, 2
Or
people
Mondays
ought to
or
be
pick
able
a
to
day.
cover 7 days. Rotating, but not overlapping, that ought, or even 3 people certainly. But, and just say that the number of hours could.
Yeah.
So it might be something to raise with him when.
Yeah, no, I
That's
think it
just
is.
my
Either
Just
for
to get,
Roger or raise it, or
Everybody likes
so it's
having
okay.
plenty of police around, we all like to be safe and everything else, but it just seems.
And I think
having
it's
the
stretching
police
them
officers
thin,
working
if nothing
8 shifts
else.
in 1 week,
I
that
know.
sounds.
Yeah, I'm really worried about safety at a certain point.
I'm worried about theirs and everyone else.
Yes, you're fried.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Great. who do you think should be in that meeting? Do you want a select board member with you?
Yeah, I'll talk from first and then if I should have an official one,
Okay.
with the select board.
Do you want that?
No, I
or
can
do you want
do
me to
it.
Okay.
I'm around.
I mean, I wanna be as supportive as I can of them, but part of that means that we may have to say until you get a third officer. And meanwhile, think about what, like, if you were gonna reduce hours, which hours would those be?
And it looks like the third officer's already been decided. It's in training right now.
No, that's not
No.
the case. That was part of the
It
proposal
was
for
a
the fourth
part of his
officer.
proposal.
No, there's no one in training right
Yeah, no, he backed
Oh, I
out.
thought this person was gonna be available in a
Nope.
few months and they
They
already have
decided against
They
it.
decided against it.
uniforms and guns and ammo and everything else.
They decided against it.
Okay.
Are we get on the police part?
Susan, can I make
Yeah.
one point before we move on about police?
Please, I'm trusting you to chime in because, because I don't,
Yeah.
especially without being able to see your face, I don't always catch the little hand.
So I think these are all great points that are being raised, particularly Steve Pullen. If we don't want coverage from 8 a.m. until midnight in town with a officer on duty, and then from midnight to 8 a.m. on call from home, we need to decide one of two things. Either we can have someone on call from home at some point during 8 a.m. to midnight, or we can turn over our calls to the Mass State Police, which are two drastically different options. I've always been a proponent of on call from home, and I think that's the less extreme of the two routes, and I don't know how helpful it would be. On call from home only works if your home is not too far away. So with only two full-time officers, only one of the two could do on call from home. So, and that doesn't necessarily reduce burnout in that way. But I do think it's something that the select board should continue discussion on. With 3 full-time officers and little to no part-time help available, burnout and overworked officers is going to be a continual problem. And we know that without adding a 4th full-time officer based on the scheduling, right? So we should address it before it's a bigger problem. And the other option, as I mentioned, is the Mass State Police thing. And that's a tough pill to swallow. And I'm not sure if there's an appetite for it, but we should at least explore it.
I wanna throw in one more thing into the bucket that kind of just goes along with that, which is, if the other towns and the other police chiefs were willing to talk about it, it might be possible to come up with a way for there to be an officer in one of the 3 towns that was on duty, right, actually on duty, so that they were rotating between the 3 staffs, even if that meant the on-call person was someone who was on duty and covering, let's say, 3 towns. For that, instead of just one on-call for each town, right? I mean, that would mean there would be more opportunities for rotating that, and it's not gonna be it's whatever the transit time, it's still gonna be less than the state police would be, almost assuredly. And maybe not too much more than it would be under whatever system they currently have. And maybe the answer is no, but you don't get to yes without even asking.
I like your plan, Susan. I will say, I think it's more realistic if we have 2 officers covering 3 towns rather than 1 officer covering 3 towns. So if for
Agreed,
instance,
I just meant
we know-
nighttime.
we know New Marlboro and Sandisfield both have somebody on, maybe we don't need to backfill a shift where someone's sick.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, just taking notes.
Okay.
Okay, anything else for the budget? Or are we,
No, everything else is pretty much where it was when we started.
Okay, and we're talking fire department next week. Are there any other big topics budgetarily that have?
Education and fire.
Education and fire is
Right,
all that's
well,
really left, those are the big ones.
Yep, and the education's kind of out of our hands.
So where are we at the bottom line right now, Roger,
Bottom line, we are
as of today,
right here.
at 11%?
So just so we know what we're looking at here, hold on, let me just zoom in a little bit. So at the town warrant, when it was, when we put that up, the budget, the annual operating budget was $5,730,962. Article 6 added the $404,159.96 to the budget. Then the schools, they made it floor amendments to the operating and transportation, the floor amendment to the loan and interest, the 19,046 for the operating and 3,136 for the loan and interest bond. And then there was also a floor amendment for the community center to increase the hours and wages for that department, $3,486. So at the end of the meeting, with the FY26 operating budget with Article 6 and the floor amendments was $6,116,426.29. And so based upon that budget, we're currently at an 11% increase.
So the 11% tracks to the 6,116,
Yes.
not to the 5,730.
Correct.
Okay, just to make sure we're talking apples to apples, you just took out the fourth police?
Yep.
Including whatever health plan or,
We didn't really have a health plan in there for that person when
okay,
we did all that. Yeah.
okay. Well, there was something else, and we haven't come to a decision yet about the assessor's assistant either, right?
No, we haven't. So that's actually still up in here. So my recommendation, if we do it, is at this point in time, just to do it for 10 hours a week, 5 hours probably on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And this, we gotta go that way. So that's where that is right now.
Justin, your hand's still up. Is that real or left up?
It's on purpose. There's a lot of places we can cut, and many of them are in yellow.
Yeah.
So
I think one that we've
But
sort of traditionally
one other
gone
thing,
after.
Roger.
Yeah.
For the FY26 approved budget, I like what you did to match it to the warrant. But I think other than Article 6, those amendments should really be reflected in the line items
I can do that.
themselves.
Yeah,
Because
I had a question about that.
They are what was approved, right?
Is the 11% compared to the 6 million?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I asked him, right?
So if I do it, Justin is suggesting, these would disappear and it would go into these, the school lines and they'd be reduced by that.
So bottom line,
It's still,
in the
it's still
team
come
would
out.
still be the same number. It would be the 6,116 or 8, whatever that is.
So
The point being, it's FY26 approved, not FY26 proposed, right?
Correct.
And the
Right.
Article 6 gets messy, and it was a raise and appropriate, but the other ones I don't think are messy. I think they should just go in there as they were approved.
That's a good point. That's cleaner, Justin, I agree.
Much cleaner, I agree. I'm just scanning the other yellows. Anything else, Justin?
But one that we often look at is probably, as parks could probably be low, there's some things in the parks,
Where did,
budget line item.
Well, the beach monitor. And I don't know about, the expenses is yellowed also. Why is community?
Well, beach monitor that's the attendant, so they have to, it's actually the attendant.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
they're adding a lot of
Yeah,
hours there.
so that's a,
Originally, I
spot.
thought they were adding some extra comp. also.
Yeah.
Can you remind me what
Because they didn't
green
want
versus
the-
blue is?
green is,
Other
Temporary
stuff.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
green is, payroll, and blue is
That's good.
expenses.
Turn them
Okay.
back because they're picking up garbage or something.
All right,
And at this point, there's no capital budget items.
I don't know, there actually aren't any for this year.
weirdly, there aren't.
But what about stabilization? Is there a contribution to stabilization in there or?
Yeah, where is that? That's on.
From last year, I don't think we made one, right? We took out, but we didn't put any more in.
We cleaned it up, I know that. Well, did we put any, we didn't, Justin, we didn't put anything in the, in stabilization last year, I don't
No.
remember.
But I think to be smart, why don't we put a placeholder, a contribution to stabilization from free cash or $10,000, and then we'll revisit that
Good idea.
as
Yeah, but it
as
seems
we
like
move along.
it's a sweet year. No capital budget items.
Yeah, but
I
look at
mean,
the numbers we're
you know,
on
then
now.
next year
I know, right?
11%.
But we're gonna want that stabilization fund down the road too.
So I think as we get closer to just tackling the rest of the yellows,
Yeah.
we'll have a better sense of how we want that 11% to look. Maybe it'll be at 9 or maybe it'll be at 8.
Is it possible to figure out what percent change it is, excluding the fire salaries? Out of curiosity.
Susan,
Sure.
Chris,
Kind of that, I was just kind of a general question of how the fire department we have a 2.5 override specific for staffing. How does that play into, does the fire department need to be looked at separately versus
Because of the override.
just the override?
The override is for the total budget. It's not,
But like the article voted specifically.
it said it was for the fire, yes. That was what it
So
said.
I could speak to that. The first year, the 2.5 override needs to be to that specific voted purpose. And after that, it does not match that specific purpose at all. That's what the DLS says and the lawyers say. So that first year is specific and then it's not whatsoever. Goes into the general override.
So,
We didn't even need it the first year.
right, yeah. So Justin, what are you asking? Are you asking to see what it is with the 3 additional firefighters at 0 or for their, cause we're adjusting a bunch of things. We're adjusting health insurance, but is that what you're asking?
I'm just curious what.
Yeah, like that's what I can, just,
And I noticed on the levy limit page, you haven't updated that because there's no FY 26 written up there yet.
For what?
For the levy limit? To calculate
Yeah,
what our
they're-
current levy
yeah,
limit is?
they're not-
Okay.
So without those 3, it's 7%, but it would go down more because health rates, right now, we're having health rates that, we've put in. I mean, I could take that down to where we normally put, and just put where the buffer is, just have the one buffer for health. Let's see, so that kind of puts us down at almost 6%. Roughly. There might be some other changes we might have to lessen up that we have in there, like for, we added monies for retirement also in there. So I have to go through and make those changes. But that's roughly what it is. And that's having no changes in health insurance with just a 2-person plan buffer, just kind of rolling it. So.
Just out of curiosity, what's the news on the highway applications?
We have, we've had several come in, we're gonna wait another week or so, it goes in the shopper's guide, so we'll see what we get from the shopper's guide. We've got 3 just kind of out of the blue.
Just thinking about the health insurance part.
Yeah.
Anything else, Justin?
On the highway
We should-
department. bring up
I don't know about
the
tonight, but I
vacancy
think-
when they had a higher rate than Ryan was. You might get someone.
I don't know.
Yeah, so we'd have to put in more, another family cushion or something like that.
Yeah,
But
it
he
might
just
be a
meant the
higher
rate,
rate than
depending
Ryan,
on what
Ryan
the
started off.
Yeah, so, about that, so what's actually in here for that, for,
Highway board?
for highway. So, that was Highway 3 is what he was under,
Okay.
and it's budgeted for 60,931, but he was actually only making 48,000.
That's right, because he
So-
was sick, he was, yeah.
So we came in that budget, that's just where he was put at, so
Well, you left the budget unadjusted.
I left the budget unadjusted.
Anything else, Justin?
Not right now, thank you.
Okay. Do we wanna move on to the next thing on the agenda? Are you okay with that, Justin? Or is there anything else you guys have?
I'm okay, we can continue
And
a
with-
full agenda tonight, so we can.
Yeah,
we can
I mean,
push
I think you're
to-
welcome to join
to
us on
next
the
week. I'll stay for a
Sandisfield
while, yeah.
ambulance
Yeah.
thing
I
as
wonder
well.
if we could adjourn and have a finance committee review of the past minutes.
Oh, just for the minutes?
Just for them, when you come back.
Yeah, it'll take about a really long time, so we don't have to adjourn.
That's cool, but I would love for you guys to be here while we're talking. The next
Yes, we're
thing on
just
the
gonna
agenda
take
is
2
the
seconds
ambulance
to-
proposal.
To do one piece of business.
Yeah.
Just to get out of your
Okay,
hair.
go for it. As long as we don't have to listen to your minutes.
You don't have to, we're not gonna read them all.
That's cool. All right, do you wanna start the ball rolling?
Anybody who wants to watch is welcome. Public meeting.
Yeah, you're watching, watch grass grow. Okay, so Sandisfield, the chair reached out to me about, I don't know, 2 weeks ago and said, would we be willing to listen to a proposal for them providing our ambulance service? And I said yes. Had conversations mostly with Steve, talked to the fire chief a couple of times. So they put together a proposal, and I screwed up and got both of the pieces out there. My suggestion is to reschedule a meeting with them, maybe come up with anticipated questions, also we want data, you should send it, so we want data. I can send it to
Heard that
them
motion.
and hold a open meeting so they can come in and answer questions.
Because our agenda is done.
So I did, I mean, I took the liberty of being me.
No, that's fine,
I'm
that's
coming
fine.
with a whole bunch of
No, that's
questions
fine.
here. Did you have one more? for-
Did I miss a hand
Or
there?
for Steve?
No, we can,
You can share.
No, there's one each, it's only one page, it's both sides, but
no, I mean, this is, can you send it to me electronically?
of course, I just know you like to have the physical one, I wouldn't.
No,
send it to you.
Now,
So-
there was two part, you have that, that's the second
Yeah.
part of the proposal.
So there's the cover letter and
yeah.
then the one.
And I
that
forgot to
later
add
sent
that to the first send out.
Okay, so this is what,
Oh, so we got this on, like, this is what you sent.
Yeah, this is what sent, this is, as soon as it came up with all these
That's my
questions.
This is your
For
quote.
what he said.
Few
Uh-huh.
questions.
Yeah.
Just a few.
No, but I think this is good. I mean, Susan mentioned briefly maybe doing a visit to the site, the fire station. I think we bring him in and we talk to him. I know that you're gonna have a meeting with them.
We were, and the Otis meeting got postponed because of the
Accident.
accident.
I think we should invite Otis up here too and have a conversation with him too, and do a site visit with them.
I think it would be really good I think there's a lot of stuff that I'd like clarification on, that the only way to do it, and giving them the questions in advance so
I
they can
think so
prepare
too.
answers.
Mine was gonna be more statistical stuff, but.
I'm happy with that too.
Yeah.
I do wanna say that, I had some questions, especially about some of the things they had in the cover letter. And I went ahead, I knew that Collins Center had gotten stats out of dispatch
Uh-huh.
for the EMS study. And I reached out to Stephanie and I forwarded that to
That's
you.
all I did.
So, in his cover letter, he says that they had 470 calls
Yeah.
for 2025. And according to the numbers that Stephanie got from dispatch in 2024, they had 142.
I don't know, we'll have to ask.
I don't know, we'll ask him. I'm just saying, that's the sort of thing that, yeah, that's exactly the face I made, Jeff. I,
Don't we, I shouldn't play poker.
yeah, me neither.
No,
There's a reason I
I
don't.
don't, you know, I don't need it.
So there are a lot of questions that I have, and that one for me, you know, I have a lot of reservations, raises a lot of flags for me when I feel like I'm talking to a car salesman who's,
Yeah, you know, I didn't spend time, you know, people have raised concern about the fire chief there. I spent some time talking to him, but not this time. I spent time talking to Steve, and I found him truthful, answering questions where they've had trouble, what they're doing.
is Steve,
He's
going
the
to-
chair of the board.
I know, but
He
he
would be here.
would be
I
stepping
think-
down, wouldn't he?
No, he's not. It's not.
Oh, it's not.
It's
Not
not
his
his
year.
turn. He's got another year.
But two of the other members, I also was
Only
concerned,
one member's coming on.
really, I thought one was stepping down and one was coming on.
The one stepping down is coming on.
I see, he's just not running again.
Yeah, right. I guess that's it. I don't know if he's retiring or whatever.
So, you know, I would like to get a lot of information, you know, it's easy to make a claim. I noticed that, I don't know how it works in Sandisfield, but there are no select board signatures. on
Well,
this
I mean, to
anywhere.
be candid about it, they were meeting Tuesday night to talk about it,
Mhm.
to proposal, because it came up and they didn't have a meeting scheduled.
Right,
And I said, I can't afford to wait,
right,
you know, because we're running out of budget time. If you look at the date, you know, he may come back and say the board decided not to do it. But he had talked to board members separately about it,
right.
you know, and so I guess, you know, they felt good enough to go ahead that he would. He may say tomorrow, I can't do it.
I think if we're going to look at Sandisfield and Otis, then we probably should have established beforehand a list of criteria. What do we want?
Right.
And then we can evaluate proposals based on what our needs are and on a level playing field that way.
That's a good suggestion.
Just kind of like we have you're hiring somebody for a job.
Right, no, you do it with, well, when you buy equipment, you do it, you're buying a
Right.
service.
You're buying a service, so that we know what we want from that service, and then we can say, okay, what's it gonna cost us?
And I think I also wanna have a sense, of like, how much money are they putting into, it's one thing to say we have X people, well, how much money are you actually putting into personnel? How many people do you actually have, part-time and full-time? You say you have 2 ambulances, that's great, how many days have they actually been in service, each of them for the last X number of hours?
Yeah.
If you're 24/7, do you have sleeping quarters, you're saying you have money for the renovation of the building, what are the plans? How much money is that gonna cost, how much money do you actually have towards that? Will you be putting it on it, I mean, are you planning to put other capital improvements on your budget, like, I want a little more, and
No, I mean, they're all good questions.
for all their efforts, and I would ask you to vote, for all their efforts in Sandisfield, they don't we're not talking about a long track record, and that makes me nervous. I also had heard and verified now with Kevin Wall at SBA that, they're actually now operating without an ALS contract with SBA,
Who is?
Sandisfield, and they're also in arrears on their ALS service payment. It's not a huge amount, but that's not really the point. And those kinds of things make me operationally
There's also
concerned.
a practicality of what happens when the 911 call comes in. How do they hear about our 911 call?
How does who care about?
So I fall in my house or I'm in a heart attack. Lauren picks up the phone, she dials 911, and they have to know.
Dispatch
Dispatch
knows
has to
who
know
your
it's
provider
the
is and
call,
dispatch is
right. So
that
they have to
provider,
make
so
sure
it
the
would involve
instructions
a change there. And then if you have a BLS service and there's a need for an intercept, then the BLS service asks for that intercept. So,
I was really struck that it sounded like they currently have 2 squads in active service, 2 machines in 2 locations.
No, I
Multi-town.
think they're both in both ambulance. They have 2 fire stations, but the ambulance, I believe, come off at 57. Not
I
the
believe
ambulance.
I had the impression they were coming off by the town hall, I mean,
No,
by
they, I believe as far as I know, they eliminated the lease with the south, Route 8 station, so
In New
I
Boston.
think Sandisfield only has one.
I heard that too.
station.
They only have one
Yeah,
location.
they own the stations now.
They didn't take the, in the newspaper articles about it, they didn't take the New Boston station. They just, in the eminent domain taking, they only took the main station on 57.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it still has two on here.
whatever,
Well, that's better for us, obviously, it's a lot closer to Monterey, if that's where they're gonna be, their ambulances.
I highlighted a bunch of other things that are in there that I have concern over, that some of which are definitional, because I don't know what they're actually saying, you know? But, I don't know.
No, I have no problem.
I
Anybody else
would
have
like to know
questions?
what a population pair matrix is.
And
For
would they
example.
also just deploy on our fire calls?
I
I
think,
don't know, I don't have. we're
no,
doing
ambulance
mutual.
doesn't just always deploy on fire calls, right? Only if you call them in?
Just want to make sure that there has to be clarity.
I think it would be the same clarity that exists with the current system, because that's the system. I don't think that's not, it's not a question of who the ambulance is, as
Right.
long as the
The
system
system
knows who the
knows,
ambulance is, yeah. We'd have to ask them also, apparently they've been doing something called balance billing, which is when you have an ambulance ride and, the insurance doesn't cover the full cost, and then the ambulance company bills for the remainder,
Yeah,
and it's legal.
well, it depends.
In the state of Massachusetts, it's legal.
Is it legal for Medicare?
Not
I don't
legal
know,
for
and I don't think it's
Medicare,
legal
but
for the
as far as
vets.
Veterans, it's
Right.
flat rate.
However, I would like to know if they would be planning to do that for our people, because we would be paying the 30K, but then they're making it up off the taxpayers who think their coverage is being covered, and so there's a lot of concerns like that I wanna make sure that we pay attention to the fine details.
Is Southern Berkshire doing that, Alan's?
No.
It's right back there.
Packers going, no.
I bet you the collection rate is pretty low.
I also don't know the answer
spend more
to
money
this question. If an ambulance takes you to a hospital, in Massachusetts, like I know my coverage doesn't care much for my going to any provider outside of the state of Massachusetts. If our people got taken to Hartford Hospital, would that present problems for them? Do you know? Don't know. Yeah, me neither. Do you have any idea, Justin?
And theoretically, you could get taken to Winstead.
Sorry, what's that, Susan?
Emergency.
In this in their proposal, they say that one of the possibilities would be for a patient taken by ambulance to be taken to Hartford Hospital. And I actually don't know what the implications are in that for billing to the patient. Like, I know a lot of insurance doesn't like it when you're out of state, mine doesn't. And I just wondered if you knew it, we need to find out more about that, but it would be a concern for me, that we find out what would happen in that instance.
And it may be as close as Winstead, so. You know,
It might be,
right.
but they specifically mentioned Hartford.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different state.
Once
And
you
either
push that
way,
state line.
Exactly,
Right, yeah, the rules are different.
right. So I just, there's a long list of stuff.
No, I'll get it out tomorrow. You
Yep.
email it to me.
Yeah, Charlotte Hungerford is a lot closer than Hartford Hospital.
Yeah, and they're actually a pretty good facility. My
So
brother was taken there on more
Wind
than
up
one
getting
occasion.
taken there, and then all of a sudden you got a huge bill. because
That's
your
the thing,
insurance doesn't
right.
cover that.
Exactly, so I think those are all things we need to think about. Anyway. Hopefully.
I guess,
Go ahead, go for it.
from the fire department standpoint, if we could just be included, this is a pretty big impact on the town of Monterey. We're the ones out in the field dealing with all this, so we could have some input.
I'm gonna send you that second thing that I only got to do now.
Would be,
No, I think we should have an open discussion, it'd be like an open select board meeting with them here. Come and talk to them then. I don't know, should be out on the table.
pretty remarkable how they came up with the $30,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They know we're already paying 100,000.
They had to get 30.
157 for next year, yeah.
Well, they say they're also collecting the insurance. I have no way to say how much that is.
Yeah, but all I know about the
So we-
insurance is that it keeps getting cut. That Medicare, Medicaid, and all those guys keep cutting.
Yeah,
They don't keep adding.
no.
And so billing for ambulance services seems to me like not a great business to go into.
Susan, you have a
Patrick?
question?
Yeah, I just want a clarification. Is this something that you're considering for this coming fiscal year, or just more a long-term conversation?
It could be this fiscal year.
Because I just point out that we presented our budget to the towns in November, and it's March, and all the other towns have locked in. And, you know, this is clearly a situation where you get some incremental revenue where the balance of costs are being paid for somewhere else. And it's a little bit extra money because they feel like they have the capacity. As somebody who's in that business with ALS, where the ALS business throws off almost no cash and is a tremendous burden, you know, the flight car alone is $70,000 that we just paid for, and a paramedic fully loaded is over $100,000. There is no magic to this stuff, including insurance billing. By the way, there is no insurance billing for ALS because it's the primary ambulance that gets the insurance. And all I'm saying to you now is if you consider for this fiscal year, you blow $150,000 hole into a regional budget that we gave you in November, and I don't know what we're gonna do about that. There's no easy answer to this. You guys are kind of 17 minutes from them and 17 minutes from us, and lives get saved the faster you get ambulances to people. You know, we wrestled this when I was on the Stockbridge Select Board, you know, this exact issue, which is why we're combining with West Stockbridge. This is the absolute right conversation to have, but to have it over a couple of weeks before town meeting is a really difficult way for us to plan.
I think the reality also is that these are gonna be ongoing conversations, and I don't foresee anything getting decided tomorrow for sure, because it's complicated. I mean, and I would like to see us make regional cooperative decisions and working together. We don't have county government, so there's no way to do that, and I know there's the Collins Center study, but we need to, you know, you just heard me saying this about police too, like, I think we need regional solutions, and I know you understand that. We're not looking to dump on anyone, but just watched our budget now.
Yeah.
I think what strikes me as the most critical thing here is that they are a municipal entity. What they're talking about is a municipal operation funded by the town's tax base. Whereas SB is a private nonprofit, not funded by any municipality, just bills the municipality. So it's really interesting to see the two. My assumption is that the municipalities would somehow have to pony up when they get into a position where there's not enough funding or whatever might be happening. Not always so easy, but the nonprofit has the same problem. They can't create more funding out of thin air. They need to give towns notice so it can be appropriate. But I do think there's a difference here in the type of legal entity.
And also what happens in year two. So is year one, like 30,000, so you say, wow, 30,000 as opposed to 150,000 or whatever the number is? 30,000, sure, check, you know, and then year two.
Southern Berkshire, they started out 5 years ago at $30,000.
Right.
I think it was 5 for a while when I was on the
Then it
board.
went to 30 and then.
Yeah, so we're starting at 30, if we were to start at 30, what happens in year two? And, you know, then all of a sudden, you know, you go back to Southern Berkshire, pretend you're not here, you go back to Southern Berkshire, and they say, you know, maybe they welcome you back, or maybe they say, no, you know, you're gonna be fickle like that. And then it gets back to what you were saying, Susan, about the, you know, regionalization and really a longer term planning, which you know is my pet peeve,
And, yeah,
but.
and on top of that, I feel like
And that's
these
not
guys
just
don't
random.
have enough of a track record to really know what running a house with how many people is gonna
Your
involve.
point though about, we got a proposal that's not from the town, that doesn't have governance, the governance signature on it, that also was some concern.
Yeah.
Because is that really a proposal, or is that?
Well, I
here's what
knew,
we're
I knew,
thinking
I knew
about.
what it was, but because we're running out of time, I told him before. I mean, he is the chair of the board, so it's not,
Well,
you know, he has a town manager that's communicating to the others what's going on, so.
even
I don't
so,
think you go through that effort.
I would like this, the implication is that the only person that really thought about that number is maybe Mike Grillo, the chief.
No,
And
it can't, I spend more time talking.
I believe you, I'm just saying, like, I don't know what that number's based on, there's no information about what the number's based
Well,
on,
you
and
know,
I don't have confidence
you can't-
that they really know what running that house full time
You
is
can't
gonna
tell
be like.
another person how to run their money, okay?
No,
You're
but I
not
can
there.
say I'm not putting up
Susan,
money unless I have a clearer sense of
Well,
where
I
it comes from.
understand those questions,
I-
but
you
you
know.
can't, when you say, where do you come with that money, that's the choice they've made to put out there. That's a
But if they're
business
asking
decision.
me to pay it, I wanna know what the basis of the number is.
Yeah, no, you're looking for your service, you're gonna get charged for X, and this is the service we should anticipate. This is what they can do, how long is it gonna take, what, their availability for both their vehicles, their manning, how comfortable do you feel with their manning and all that?
And that's why I
You
said.
can't,
we get
you
the same
can't tell them,
questions
you know, you
about-
don't tell another person, you know, how did you get that number, because that's a business decision.
Oh, I wouldn't, that's not what I meant, I just meant, like, I don't have confidence that they actually fully comprehend what that budget for personnel is gonna be, running 24/7,
Mhm.
2 ambulances for the whole year. I haven't seen a budget, so I don't know, but I've seen their budget.
The trouble
I've
is
seen
that
their
the
budget.
chief used statistics to demonstrate that assuming responsibility for Monterey would not impact their budget at all, because they had capacity. They would be more efficient, they would use up their capacity more by servicing Monterey.
Because they're
Without
already
any
serving
additional
470 calls.
It really troubles me to make that assumption right off the bat, but, so that's to come up with the 30,000, then it's just gravy money, because we already have the whole shebang covered, we have more than enough capacity to handle Monterey without increasing our costs, or staff, and I don't know, I just had kind of trouble having to pull that.
I don't see any hands up.
Okay.
Pat,
I will also point out that one advantage of the nonprofit is, you know, we have in our budget, $350,000 of fundraising this year. We're gonna meet that number, some of you, that I do. And I just would also point out, and, you know, I would never lecture your professionals on fire safety or even animal safety. I'm gonna say a number, I'm a bean counter, right? But having been at Southern Berkshire Ambulance for 9 months, this is my true to God, I live in Stockbridge, I got no skin in this game observation. You got people like AJ, who is what I think the best training resource we have in the county. You've got people like Kevin Wall, who literally is a genius at this stuff. You've got, you know, Ellie from Fairview, who walks across, and every Wednesday, they do a deep dive on every single ambulance call on how they can improve service. These guys are really good and experienced at delivering ambulance service, and this is life and death, guys. And you know, with your geography, there's no easy answer here, but I gotta say, as somebody who before a year ago, other than sitting on the soccer select board, had really no experience with this, I am constantly amazed at how good this team is, for what it's worth.
well, thank you. This is worth your opinion. Thank you. Okay. So I guess to
We'll start the
begin,
questions, and then
Yep.
I'll see if they're available, I'll put an email out to Roger that can ask. Let's go.
okay. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope, I was here to listen.
Okay, cool. What's next step?
Next is seasonal communities, but they're at 7, so we can skip over and go along
Okay,
with some other stuff if you wanna do that.
I mean, are we expecting more people?
So,
I think, yeah, the seasonal, I think you're gonna get people that are gonna.
Okay,
Because
cool,
that was
no problem.
pretty, expecting there's a lot of them
Oh, wait.
that come
The
online,
committee is gonna come.
some of them.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think what, some
Okay,
of
sorry.
them, some of the weather,
if
some
there's
of.
enough of them.
I'd like to wait till 7.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, Lauren,
Do you wanna do the basic life support endorsement, right?
Yeah.
Lauren will be here at 7.
So that's the letter, the fire department asked the select board for an endorsement letter, about, the EMT.
Okay, I've read the letter, And I made some comments that I want to share. I will not sign the letter.
All right.
Okay.
What are your?
Okay, it constitutes a commitment to providing ambulance service for our fire department. When we addressed the town last year, the conversation centered around the need of a paid fire department due to declining volunteerism and staff shortages rather than adding ambulance service. Last year in a budget meeting, I asked Sean during a meeting if he intended to pursue an ambulance. At the time, his response was negative. However, in a meeting on January 9th, Chris said that he thought every town should have an ambulance service. It is unclear to me what drives the need for an ambulance from our firehouse and what benchmarks were used for this assessment. The acquisition of an ambulance constitutes a considerable financial commitment, which costs surprising $500,000 prior to activation. This figure does not include expenditures with staffing, employee benefits, and ongoing maintenance required for sustaining the operation. Careful consideration must be given to potential impact to other municipal priorities, particularly considering the existing plan to obtain a new fire truck at over $1 million and the prospect of the addition of an ambulance in the foreseeable future. A comprehensive financial analysis, including principal and interest considerations relevant to a small community, should be presented. This represents a substantial expenditure. Over the past year, progress towards regionalization appears to have been minimal. It seems not enough inquiries have been made regarding these initiatives. For example, the partnership with Otis has not operated as a fully collaborative effort. Emergency vehicles from our service dispatched nearly every call, while theirs is sporadic. There was limited support. Such an arrangement does not constitute an effective partnership and may increase overall costs. While the current ambulance provider delivers quality service, their costs are substantial. It is my opinion it would be more beneficial to explore partnerships with nearby communities that already maintain their own ambulance services.
I was under the, and I just looked at the letter more carefully, and I think I assumed that it was a previous letter I had read. I had understood that the goal was to allow the firefighters, to, if they're firefighter EMTs or firefighter paramedics, to use those additional skills as firefighters, which they, even if they are EMTs, they cannot actually act and operate as EMTs and do EMT things, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
I heard what you said. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you, Frank. I'm saying that I would like to see the letter rewritten to reflect that I would like our firefighters to be able to act as EMTs, whether or not they're an ambulance service, because, and I realize that it does say,
Yeah, they
and
say
I
high
understand
quality
that,
emergency medical
but I had,
transport.
my original understanding from them was that the goal was for them as firefighters to be able to act as EMTs, which they cannot do now.
Hmm.
And I think that is a valuable addition because of the time. It's 12 minutes minimum
Yeah.
for anybody to get here.
Mhm.
If our firefighters who are in the house are EMTs but can't act as EMTs under the current situation, that seems like a waste. So we need a different letter that reflects that
I'll take a
desire.
look at the letter.
Why can't-
No,
Is that
I
a
think you're
legal
right.
thing
I
that
think
they
it has
can't?
to be rewritten.
Is that a state law that they cannot?
Yes.
I mean, you should take a minute out and read the letter. I mean, there's
I
been,
just did.
I
I
know,
just read the letter. I agree.
there's been no public discussion about this. Zero.
Exactly.
And I will tell you the other thing is, last year, well, we did a deal with Otis. Well, nobody told me the calls our out of town calls were gonna be up to 50, almost 50%. So there's gotta be transparency on this. If I can understand if we have EMTs on the staff and we want them to act as EMTs, but not get an ambulance when we have them and we have 3 other communities surrounding us, that's regionalization. That's what you want. Not adding another $500,000 vehicle, I was told by someone the other night, it's $1 million once you get fire or ambulance service.
The $1 million is to cover personnel too, though.
Yeah, I know, but
We
that's.
already have personnel in the house. It's a
Look at our
different story.
budget, so that's 10% of our budget.
I'm
right up
not
there.
arguing with you, but I'm
We're already
saying
at
that
11% now.
if you have
Jesus, we're-
personnel in the house, if you have personnel in the house, it's personnel that's the majority of that cost. But all that said, if the letter were a letter of support to allow firefighters to act as EMTs, not to run an ambulance, but to act as EMTs, would you support that?
I will support it after I read the letter.
Of course, I'm asking if,
I'm
asking if you support the concept.
I support, I would tell you right now, I support that some of the police officers get medically trained too, because they show up before, but do you think those guys up the street are willing to say, hey, Brian, you gotta be careful about some of that, because someone has to be directly in charge too, but.
All that said, that's a provisional yes, if that's what you're supporting,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
I understand wanting to be able to use the EMT, but when I see
The ambulance is in there.
an ambulance in there, transporting people, you gotta get into billing systems, you gotta get into collections, there's a whole.
It's a
And
whole.
do it. I wish Chris was sitting here, I don't give him a high grade for tracking numbers this year.
Well, I'm also disappointed that they left, I think that
I give him my sheet, I'm happy to do it, I'm not mad at him, but I'm just like, we need to time out here, if we're gonna do regionalization, we need to spend more time talking to other fire departments, other companies, and we need to bring the select board members into those meetings. Because I learned a lot from Steve. I probably spent 3 hours on the phone, what they're doing, what their problems been, the mistakes they've made and stuff like that, how they got out of probation and all that. So you learn, so we need to.
Oh, so are they actually out of probation?
Uh-huh. Yeah, but we got people running around town, they're in probation. No, they got out of probation last fall. So, I mean, they're not perfect, and I'm not saying go with them, but, what I've learned in the last year, you gotta get out to these other select board members and start talking to them, because you don't want anybody to filter your information.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I would like to see a letter that supported our.
I support being a EMT, but I want nothing to commit to a $500,000 ambulance and the complexity of it, because last year Sean talked about it's like you gotta manage the drugs that are on it, you gotta, there's a whole.
A whole nother list of
It's a different thing,
options, right.
but I think that we need to start having select board meetings with other select boards saying,
Yep.
that this is getting to be crazy with laws.
I know, okay. So, you wanna?
Yeah, I'll
talk to
follow
them
I'll
about
follow
that?
up on that.
All right. Home rule petition?
Justin, you might have to, Justin,
So-
can you put that on there, what was that for?
Can you hear me, everybody?
Yep,
See how to roll.
we got you.
For once, there's actually progress on our home rule petition. There have been some amendments that have been made. They're mostly minor. The finance committee can leave if they want to, right?
They absolutely can.
Yeah, we're
Thank
just,
you for
What's that?
we're
joining.
just observers right now. I wouldn't mind hearing more about that.
I don't want to keep you too late.
No,
Seasonal.
we actually adjourned the
We're gonna
finance
start
committee,
that right at 9 or 7.
Okay,
but I may stay for a little bit for the next section of
Your
the
wife's
agenda.
They,
absolutely.
they just wanna hear the seasonal community thing, Justin, so go ahead, finish.
Of course, sorry for the interruption. There's a few changes. Can you print this out for them, Roger?
Yeah, I'll go
Is
first.
that we said, that was the email
No,
from the.
there's just a few changes. I'm gonna walk through them. There's 4 changes. The
Four?
committee
How
changed-
many changes? I thought we were just asking to extend how long she could work as a
So we
police.
proposed language, and they, with the option for them to change it as needed, but it needs to come back to us first. We need to
Got it.
approve it. Instead of deductions shall continue to be made, no further deductions shall be made. So as I understand that, from 65 to 70, no retirement type deductions will be made. That's the big one.
So basically that means that she doesn't continue to get town contributions towards her retirement?
So well, it won't be deducted. I think it's a benefit to the employee.
It won't be deducted from what?
No further deductions shall be made from the regular compensation of Jennifer O. Brown under said chapter 32 for any service subsequent to her reaching 65 years of age. And
Okay.
upon retirement, Jennifer O. Brown shall receive a superannuation retirement allowance equal to that which she would have been entitled to had she retired at 65 years of age. So I think from after 65, she stops paying in, and then when she retires at 70, in theory, she'll retire. The retirement will be equal to had she retired at 65.
Basically, you don't get to put more money aside into the retirement account for the additional years past
That's right.
65, right? So it's not like,
The pensions get frozen.
right, got it. Were there two more? You said four.
That's the two sentences that I just read include the four changes.
Gotcha, okay.
Is Roger getting you the track changes?
Yeah, he said he got up to go to the printer.
It's technically by their rules, it's four changes, but that's the gist of it as I understand
Okay.
it.
Okay.
My sense is we'll approve it so we can keep this thing moving along.
I mean, it doesn't affect us particularly, but it's a question of whether she'll still wanna do it. Has she been, do we know, Roger, does Jen know about the changes they want?
Yes.
Okay, and, is she willing to continue to work despite that?
At this point, as far as I know, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seemed an important thing to know, because she might have
Basically,
said,
what they're doing is freezing her pension at
Right.
that age.
but if she was doing it in order to increase the pension, that might be consideration. She might be just doing it for the salary or for the job,
Yeah,
right?
then she'll do, she's
Particularly-
not gonna withdraw pension, and she can't withdraw
Right.
pension and still work. So
Right.
she'll get her full pension amount for the equivalent at 65.
Technically, you can.
Oh, really? A lot of
Yes.
pensions you can't.
No, I think she had thought, originally, I believe, when the Home Petition had gone in, it was so that she could work past 65 and continue to put monies into Berkshire County retirement, which would eventually end up making her vested. And unfortunately, she won't be vested, so this will stop it at 65. She won't put any money towards.
Is she
Basically,
invested when she gets to 65? How many years do you
you
have
have to be 10 years in the system
Oh, really?
to be fully vested, and she won't be there. So,
Wow.
but this actually allows her to work past 65 though as well.
Well, yeah, no, that's the whole purpose of it, yeah, to work.
So yeah, she's just, yeah, basically it just steps her back to where she was at 65, so.
What's up, Chris?
You guys gonna go back over the endorsement letter? I
We
got
can
one.
come back to it since you came back, so that would be great, but we're gonna finish this combo first.
Yeah. So that's where that is. I think, Justin, did you go over the different changes? Yeah.
Do you have any other comments about it, Justin? I mean, what do we have to do except say that we just need to accept the changes?
We need to vote to approve the changes so that the home rule petition can move forward.
I move that we approve the changes recommended by the state. Is it the aide that's making these? No, it's the,
It's a petition by Louis Davis.
The bill was ordered to a third reading, and we received the following guidance from the Committee on Bills in the third reading.
okay,
So it's the Committee on Bills from the
committee on
House
bills.
side from the bill.
So I move that we agree and make the changes as recommended by the committee on
Bills, the committee on bills. That seems,
Sounds like a bill you're gonna get.
I know,
I second
right?
your motion.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Justin?
Justin, I.
Okay. Okay, Chris, the deputy chief, Chris Tryon, returned to the room and would like to say something concerning the endorsement for life support.
No, I just heard the issue.
The issue is that the endorsement, the letter that the wording that I got that was suggested to use for the endorsement included licensed ambulance service.
Right, that's what the state calls it.
And so that's in question, and I believe what was going on is Frank was concerned that basically was endorsing an ambulance at the firehouse.
Right, it's you're not endorsing an ambulance, you're endorsing a class 5, it's a non-transporting. So the certification, the license allows Dennis, who's an EMT basic, to operate as a basic. Currently, we're a first responder organization, you can only operate to the first responder level. So there's other interventions, there's much more interventions that a basic can do. And this license allows the Monterey Fire Department to operate as an EMT basic organization. But this endorsement, and that's just what they call it,
So there is one sentence in here that I think was the focus of the concern, which is, we have every confidence that adding BLS ambulance transport to their capabilities will deepen the safety net available for our residents, which it kind of implies that we would be doing the transport. I think
non-transport.
as long as it's clear that we're not buying an ambulance for transport, like, I don't have a problem, we talked about the possibility of one of our firefighters getting in an ambulance from Otis to help them transport if they're short-staffed. I have no problem with that, as long as we're not talking about committing to getting an ambulance.
So it's really instead of ambulance transport, you're adding BLS level service. It's kind of
Class 5, they call it, it's still a class 5 ambulance, even though it's not a transport ambulance.
Okay.
That's just what the state calls it. That's above my pay.
Yeah, I'm not doubting, it read as though we were saying we were gonna buy an ambulance. And that was news.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll change.
Okay, cool.
I'll be in touch just to make sure we understand.
Yeah, let's go over everything.
Alright. That's it?
That's it. Thank you. Thanks for coming by.
Hi, before you go, it's from Hannah.
Oh, that's right, I heard you.
Hi. Okay, chapter 90, section 17C of the general laws, speed limit on thickly settled town-owned roads. I take it there is a.
So we have to, the select board has to vote on it. So the annual town meeting, was essentially voting for the select board to make the decision on whether or not to use it or not. So if you vote on this, to accept this, it will give me a chance to work with Alan and Chief Fahey, Alan Havel, the highway superintendent, and Chief Fahey to start working on signage and where we should put that and what it's gonna cost and all that kind of fun stuff.
Well, we went to all the trouble to get the town to approve it at the meeting, so I move that we go ahead and move forward with the chapter 90, section 17C, the general laws, speed limits in thickly settled town-owned roads, and work on changing some signage in the thickly settled areas.
I second the motion.
All in favor? Susan, yes?
Frank, yes.
Justin?
Justin, yes.
Okay. We got 5 minutes. You got any updates?
The only updates I have, there was a Lombardo committee resignation. I don't know if you're.
Yeah.
Elizabeth did.
Elizabeth.
We had a meeting the other night.
Yeah, she resigned.
So we have to get another.
I was just gonna say, do we need to
Yeah,
find a new
we're
member?
gonna have to find another.
And concerning the Conservation Commission, they have had a couple of administrative meetings about where they're gonna be moving forward. And specifically about the chairs, they're going to have a co-chair,
Yeah, so,
David Myers and Don Kutcher. David Myers will concentrate on the paperwork side of things, and Don Kutcher will concentrate on the actual meetings, when the meetings happen.
I have a question, it goes back to the agent, do we have enough money in the budget for agent for the Concom?
We do, because.
That's not a convincing yes.
We do only because, only because, well, it's only because, there's.
How many problems we have with the lake?
Yeah, no, it's just that there was money budgeted for the agent. The agent was here for a limited, it took a while to hire the agent went here, it was for a little bit of time. So, and then the new agent is making less money than the previous agent, so yes, there is money left.
So we run it by them, they feel comfortable with the money in the budget? I mean, this became a huge issue last fall.
And
So the
is,
money in the
I mean,
budget to cover what? To
Yeah,
cover the,
probably the agent, there was talk about, because a lot of the administrative stuff fell on Concom committee members, which they weren't trained to do, and that's why the September meeting got all screwed up, is because the agent's like, you know, I'm only got so many hours and you guys are killing me. And, so you don't have that to answer, but we need to make sure that we have the right money because a lot of the committee members are not trained to do that kind of paperwork.
hey, Justin, does anybody remember is the 9,800 the entire amount that the Concom agent's being paid, or was that a supplement to the role, to the?
that was what they had done is they had come up with, $24 an hour
Right.
for the
Roger.
$400 annually. Yep.
I think what Susan's asking might predate your time with us.
Oh,
We
okay.
used to pay the agent out of the revolving funds,
Right,
and it wasn't really right. And I think we entirely discontinued that, but maybe Roger, you can
Oh, yeah.
confirm that the agent's not paid out of the revolving fund.
We entirely, the revolving fund does not pay for the agent. It's a line item in the budget.
okay.
Yep.
I was pretty sure of that, but I wanted to double check, cause I remembered the old system.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
okay.
that was a mess. We had accumulated a lot of funds over the years, and then we were just dwindling that account, and it wasn't fully legal either, so.
Right, so,
Yeah.
but I agree with Frank that we better check to make sure
Yeah,
that,
I will.
how many applicants are we up to?
I believe we've gotten 2.
Well, that was more than last I heard by a whole 100%. Went from 1 to 2.
Yeah, I think I just looked.
What's the hourly rate we're offering?
Well, currently the rate is $24 an hour. So that's what the
Well, we
rate
used to
was.
pay a lot
But I
more
know-
than that.
We did pay for Kim, we paid significantly more for that, based upon what I saw on their resumes. Neither of the 2 applicants have any Conservation Commission experience. So we'd be basically stepping into the same type of situation we had with Shane.
What's the max we've paid an agent? 30 an hour, 30 something an
I
hour?
think it was in the 30s. I think she was, I'd have to go back and double check, but she was getting paid in the low 30s. I think it was 31 or 32, something like that.
I'm afraid if we pay an Concom agent $24 an hour, it's gonna be a revolving door.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't want to do, Concom has been through hell.
So that's just so there's $5,700 remaining in that budget. So even, I think there's only a few months left in the budget. So that $9,800 should cover hiring somebody because they're only at 7 or the 10
And
hours.
it's not even 8 hours a week.
No, technically, well, it's 400 hours a year, so it could be 1 hour a week, it could be 10 hours a week, what they're working at that time.
And Ken,
I would just make a suggestion that Concom is not the committee you want to try to cheap out on.
So that's why we're talking about raising the
I
money.
know, so.
Right, yeah.
To offer $24 makes no sense at all.
I don't think so either. I mean, that's really
I
a
would find the
bargain
old-
basement
I would
salary,
find the old wage scale and put it at that, the dollars at that.
because we don't know who we're gonna
You
get.
don't know what you're gonna get.
Also, did it get distributed, the IMA? So
No,
there,
well, that was the second thing I was gonna bring up, the shared agent.
right, just, I mean, we're gonna get to you guys in it, but since we're talking about the Concom, Justin, did you get a chance to read that IMA for a shared Concom agent? Obviously, it's down the road, because we're talking about a future FY,
Yeah.
but, I think it'd be a good thing. It's unfortunate it's that far down the road. I have hesitations about something shared between 5 towns, because we've been down that road before. But the idea of a full, like Egremont is willing to be the host town, and it could potentially, because it's not clear that the 7.6 hours a week that we were designating for this is actually enough for that job.
It's something we could talk about in a future select board meeting.
So I think we should come back to that, circle back to that, because I agree with Jen, and I think we're all agreed that not only is this hourly wage low, but the number of hours may also be low.
I think in the Indeed, it is more than 24 that we're looking for, in the Indeed application.
Right.
It's just what we, it's just what was, what we had here. The 98 was, 100 was what I think they were paying Shannon. I'd have to go back and double check.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so, it's a little 7:02, so we're gonna circle back to the seasonal communities designation. Jen, Ken?
Ken has some news.
Yes.
News, I like news.
Ken has news.
So why don't I start and then I'll
Okay.
kick over to you if that's
Tom,
okay?
Tom has some news too.
Okay.
So I guess,
We're resigning.
Well, you wanna run for select board? No.
So the planning board, at our last meeting, finished discussions on the finalization, on the final draft that we received of the Seasonal Communities Act. And, we did have a motion to present it to the select board to ask you to put it on the warrant for the upcoming town meeting. It wasn't a unanimous vote. I think overall, it provides some benefits to the town in the current form, both in being able to prioritize housing for important people in the town, giving an opportunity to receive some funds from the state, certainly not guaranteed, but I think at least for the short term, some funds that would be very useful to forward the efforts that the housing committee and the planning board are making toward housing. Concerns being, it does have some wording in there where you can allocate taxes differently, and it kind of raises that. Right now, you can allocate taxes to second homeowners. Under the current laws, it does raise the upper limit of that. The concern really is, even though it can be done now, it's kind of low profile. By bringing the seasonal communities to town meeting, it may raise that profile, and some of the members felt that that was a risk, but overall, the planning board does recommend it. Like Ken said, there's some new news that may cause us and the housing committee and you to maybe just delay it a little bit until we have some more information, and I'll let you pick up from there, if that makes sense.
So in our meeting, we had a housing committee meeting last night, and one of the conversations centered around the whole by right statute within the law. And the fact that there are two parts to this. One is the actual act that was voted on by the legislature, which is fairly loose in terms of some of its descriptions.
And you went, Ken, just, when you say by right, that's for tiny home.
Tiny home, yeah, by right, like for tiny homes on undeveloped or on small lots. And then there's the recent, in December, the final commission part of that then tried to clarify some of the areas. One of the areas that became an issue is the ability for someone to, once it's accepted by a community, to actually, within the time frame between the acceptance and the bylaws being proposed and voted on, that someone could, because the original statute allows it to actually build a tiny house on an undeveloped lot without the by right part of it, by rights.
Or pull one up.
Or pull one up, yeah, or pull one up, yeah. So Roger and I spent some time today with legal counsel, town council. She's currently working with a couple of towns on Cape Cod. This is an ongoing issue. It's especially an issue with those towns that have already accepted it, because they accepted it and it wasn't clear to them at the time what this is all about. The idea, I think what I would propose tonight, and we haven't had a meeting on this, so I feel a little out over my skis on this one, because I'm just proposing this without support from the housing committee or the planning board. But then we pull it back from this town meeting, and that we then look at a special town meeting in the fall, and in the meantime, develop the bylaws that would, and it would go in the special town meeting as a package with the understanding of the acceptance and the bylaws ready to go at the same time. So that then all the i's are dots and the t's are crossed, and there's no possibility of some issue coming up.
And also with a waiver to have foundations for
Yeah.
tiny houses.
Yeah.
Be a requirement, that kind of thing.
So it just all, I guess, so what I'm proposing tonight is that we do not put it forward at town meeting, and that we work, the housing committee works with the planning board to develop some bylaws, and then come back at it at another time, at a future date.
So just to make sure I've got this, the concept would be, put it on the fall STM along at the same time with proposed zoning rules that would cover all the changes.
The bylaws, yeah.
The bylaws, but the zoning bylaws specifically.
Yeah.
I love this idea. I mean, I think that makes a complete package that covers us, and it does away with the issue of, well, what if we don't change the rules, or how should we change the rules? And it's like a one-shot deal, and it's clear to everybody when you say, we will have to make rules, look, here they are. And everything will be in place, and I think it's a great idea. Justin, you have anything you wanna say about this one? Me.
Hold it on.
Yes, sir.
Justin?
Are you there?
Anything, Justin? Okay,
Can I, is there anybody online from the housing committee that wants to say anything?
nobody's
All
got
I'm
their
seeing
hand.
are initials, I don't know who's online.
Right, I know. Nobody's got a hand up either.
PR is Ben,
I can. I am on, but I don't necessarily have anything to contribute at this time, unless some people have questions.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ben-
I'm in support of this motion, Ken. You got my full support.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good suggestion, and it'll make a cleaner, more thorough package, and, I think that's great, thank you, and
So
thank you for catching
And
that.
there's no, they haven't set any timeline yet for
Acceptance?
for acceptance.
No,
We don't ever have to accept it.
Right.
I mean, it's there for us to
Yeah.
either accept or not, and I think the only downside of delaying it is
Access
the
to the
next
money,
year's
grant, yeah.
funding might be allocated, and if we haven't accepted it at that time, then we wouldn't be on the list
Eligible,
to get that funding. And I guess my only thing is, it's new news, so at our next planning board meeting, we'll talk about it and understand the impacts of that, and if we have anything different, we'll.
And I really want to apologize to everybody for the shortness of this, because it happened this afternoon, and there was no way of letting people know, because there was no decision making. So, thank you all.
That's okay. More.
I have two questions. Where does the select board stand on the issue of seasonal communities? These details being set aside.
As a body or as individuals?
As probably as individuals, because we rarely are unanimous on anything.
I don't know, actually, you'd be surprised.
And then the other question I have as a corollary to this is, does this allow us to put the CPA on the May warrant?
We are hoping to ask for that.
Yeah, the housing committee is planning to put the CPA on the warrant.
I mean, I think that nothing allows or disallows it either way.
Yeah,
They're
right.
separate issues and they're separate votes.
There might have been a need to go slow on the CPA because of the seasonal community. I
don't think that they're linked in any particular way. The only thing I see is people having a small heart attack about the budget numbers.
Yeah, frankly, we felt trapped on all of it, because there's too much coming at one time in terms of all of this. So this actually frees up the ability to put the CPA on as a separate. But whether, because of the issues with the budget, I think it's gonna be a tough one.
Yep, so, I can't speak for the other members, I can say that I had some hesitations, but honestly, I think I've, through talking to people and reading through it, and, I've come to think that I support the seasonal community designation. It doesn't seem like it has any major downsides. The only thing I would still be on the fence with would be actually using the thing that it allows us to use in terms of two tax rates. I have some hesitations about it, but we don't have to do that, even if we take the seasonal designation. So there's not really a downside, just because it gives us that opportunity, doesn't mean we have to use it.
Susan, we already have the opportunity, it just raises the
of course.
amount.
Exactly.
But we've had it, we haven't used it.
Exactly.
Thank you, Senator.
Right?
I was in favor of the seasonal. I've read over, it's got a lot of options in it. I thought it'd be good for the community.
But they heard you won't have to get divorced.
Justin, do you wanna weigh in? Cause Mort would like to know how you're feeling about supporting the seasonal communities designation versus not.
Normally.
Sorry, I thought I was talking earlier and then I realized I was muted on my computer.
Turned himself off.
I have reservations about the seasonal communities. I'm not surprised at this most recent news in a way, because it always felt like vote yes without knowing the details. And so I'm not surprised it's coming back to bite some towns who've already accepted, and now tiny homes can be built by right. I think what they're doing, it's definitely a scattershot approach, several different tools, and many of them just aren't relevant in Monterey, right? Like, we can increase our residential tax exemption from 35% to 50%, but we don't have one at all. And we could have one up to 35% now, but we don't. So that's just one of several things that allows the town to do. But at the end of the day, I might accept it only because we might get some grant money that I would imagine will dry up in the near future. It's hard for me to believe that they'll prioritize what really are, at the end of the day, wealthy towns over towns that have more need throughout the state. We have a unique problem that we're facing, but how long will the state continue to put any money towards it? I'm very doubtful. And I feel the same way about CPA, because I know we were just talking about CPA and the decreasing match, which I'm not a fan of. But that's where I'm at.
Anything else? Yes.
You know, Justin, this is Mort Solomon, you can't see me. In terms of the CPA, yes, there is a decreasing match, probably because more and more towns are participating, and asking for a fixed distribution. But the CPA itself is not likely to disappear. It's been going since early 2000, so I don't think it's gonna go away.
Oh, I think you meant the grant money.
The grant money.
The grant money, so we'll see. There's no way to know. You never know what the state government will do.
So at our meeting last night, one of the things,
Patrick, did you have something you want to say?
Yes, I happen to find myself, I happen to find myself here tonight, and I think the two areas that haven't been mentioned really are related to the earlier discussion around fire, police, and ambulance. One is your ability to do like something like, for example, a down payment assistance with that CPC money for your municipal employees, so you can afford a house here. When you're wrestling with how to get a police officer overnight here, having someone actually live in town would be a great thing. And that ability to kind of give that grant for that little bit higher level might be just the thing if someone doesn't have the savings to get into that. The second thing I would just point out is attainable housing has to be lived in 10 months a year, and all of these zoning changes only apply to deed restricted, permanently restricted attainable housing. In Stockbridge, we did an analysis of this. To meet our goal of 25 middle-class homeownership units, we would have to make 15 acres of land available for this new zoning. That's out of 15,179 acres in Stockbridge. This is not the kind of big giant change everyone's making it out to be. You can do very modest zoning changes only for attainable housing and focus AMI to make sure that you can have municipal employees who can afford to live in your town. And I think that's kind of the key benefit of it.
Yeah, I second that. I think that's one of the most important parts of the designation is it allows you to assist critical employees, like maybe select board members that want to live here.
Can I chime in when there's an opportunity?
What was that,
Absolutely.
Justin?
Go ahead, Justin.
This is another sticking point I have with seasonal communities, right? We can increase attainable housing. Instead of focusing on 100% AMI, we can do 250% AMI. 100% AMI, as I understand it in Monterey, is already over $100,000. Almost all of our town employees are already under 100% AMI.
except for
We
the
don't
fire
need to
department.
increase to 250% AMI.
He's got a point.
You have a good point.
It's not affordable housing though. I mean,
It's for.
the problem is we got too many things going on and it gets confusing. It's not meant for affordable housing, it's meant for housing, period. Full-time, year-round housing and not SDRs and that.
Okay.
At our meeting last night, one of the things that came up was that we were talking about doing a mailing. And we realized that we have no budget. And we all started talking about Justin, suggesting that we have a line item at our last meeting. And I think, I guess one of the things I would ask is what is the possibility of having a line item for the housing committee with maybe to start out, what, 50,000? And we'll look at it, we'll evaluate it after 6 months.
And don't forget about the 3 full-time employees.
I was actually thinking of 6. So in all seriousness, I mean, so I'm not sure what the process is for that.
We make.
How much
a
money is it,
line.
Ken? Is it a few $100s?
No, I think it should be comparable with the other boards. I mean, we don't know what's gonna come up in a year.
Well, if you do
Yeah,
how much
mailings
money?
cost
I mean, we have-
money.
Is it $500, $5,000?
The other boards are anywhere from like
So-
$500.
What kind of mailing, was it a survey?
But, I mean, you want it for mailings, right?
But there'll be a couple of them, and we don't know what, I mean, this is all because of last night and now today, and we don't have all the information.
Well, what does it cost to print and mail
We
on
were,
warrants?
we were thinking of a line of 25 to 5, someplace around there.
What's the planning board then?
The meeting house did a mailing in the fall, it cost us about $1,400.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Planning board is.
if you look at some of the warrants, because they're pretty heavy, it gets up the cost on that. If you did that, you should be okay.
So I would leave it up to your discretion between 25 and 5.
25 and 500?
No, the other way.
I was for
You want some more zeros there?
They do, that's.
4,000.
Well, that-
Planning board says it's 4,003,
No, it's, their budget. Yeah. Word?
4,003,
Yes, but that includes, that actually down a little bit, but that includes, in case they have to do, postings in the newspaper and stuff.
Right.
That doesn't include any mailings. Most of the smaller, departments have, like $500, $1,000,
Right.
so.
But he's talking about mailings. Do you know what a mailing cost is?
Well, Mortis said it,
We did a
the
mailing.
meeting house was
For the meeting house, it
1,400.
was fundraising mailing, but it was
What's that,
about
$1,400?
$1,400.
The pantry was the same thing for their mailing.
So ours is, well, I guess it depends on what you're mailing, because we just do the households, and there's, I forget how many, 600 some odd households we mail to at 75 cents a mail.
It
or
wasn't the
76.
cost of the mailing, but the pantry and the meeting house paid to pay quick print to print.
Printing is
that, and it was,
Well, I guess it depends
We
on what
don't
you're
know if
printing,
we'll have
because we
more
print.
than 1 a year. I mean, yeah, we're not gonna be printing like, one sheet on a black and white printer kind of
Yeah.
thing, and then, as things come up, we'll need like CPA. So we have CPA and we have seasonal communities and stuff like that. We'd like to get information out there, so it's more than one mailing a year.
Would it be more than
I'm
three?
trying to think. what
I
we
doubt
do
more
for
than
that.
3.
I could see us doing 2 mailings this
Yeah,
year.
that
So
sounds
I would-
about
so
right.
you
I'm trying to
get
remember
13
what
to
our
bucket.
last mailing
Double
was.
it,
I
that's
just
it.
can't remember.
Well, let's say $3,000,
$3,000. Done.
$3,000.
Going once, going twice.
Oh, wait a minute, there's a conference in Belize. Hold on.
I hear you get a good job. In Dubai, you can get a real.
Dubai. You can't get out of
Yeah,
Dubai
you
at the
gotta
moment,
get there.
or in there. At least so.
Can you create a
Yeah.
line?
But I will, yeah, I'll put it in the budget.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I think that's why we were getting the pie.
And if we didn't give it to them, they were gonna hit us with it.
the pie is from Heritage.
She just dropped off
Yeah,
somewhere.
she just dropped off some plates and
Oh.
some ice cream.
Aw,
Well, you better start serving more often.
not that they're trying to sweeten us up or anything.
Oh, it's from Hannah.
Okay, is that it for seasonal?
I think so, you tell me.
You tell her,
Sure,
you got
agenda
enough
item.
surprises.
Okay, so I think it's a good plan. I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. I suspect everybody does.
Cool, thank you.
So there are cards in there.
All right, any other town administrator updates? Any unanticipated business? Any comments or questions from the public?
That's a bill.
How about some pie?
How about some pie? Absolutely.
Minutes.
Okay, minutes. Now the most fascinating question. Thank you so much for coming, Patrick.
Yes.
I look forward to
And if
chatting
you have
with
any
you.
questions on any of those, anytime you can call.
Yeah, or seasonal community, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Since you wear both hats.
Here, both of my slides from Stockbridge's articles.
I know, right? That's awesome. And I think I sent you my.
Actually, I made that one little change on the 20. We did do.
No worries.
So I'm the CFO there. So I came in.
Can you guys take it outside? I know, I know ready to hit it, but we still got work to
A little bit more to do.
do. Justin, are you good to do the minutes from the 17th?
Yep, I sent some edits along.
All right, I'm gonna pull
Unfortunately,
them up.
I wasn't in my office for most of today, so.
I went through an email, I was.
Okay, I probably didn't see it.
We'll catch up.
That's cool.
See you later, Ken.
Okay, 17, got it.
You guys sent this.
Okay.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Jeff. I'll answer your text.
Drive carefully.
I'll let you know. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
So give me.
Good night, everybody. Unfortunately, we get back into the office until 5:00.
So these are Justin's, and these ones are mine.
This is the 17th.
Yeah.
I went there, I skipped it.
This way. So I think he's got just adding the number, which is fine. What do we got here? So is that? That's COLA down here, but there's something on here too. Oh, comma. So Justin's got some small, yeah, Justin's got more changes than I do. It's the first page.
It was 4. But that's just on the second. Did you send something for the 17th?
I did, but it's last week. Yeah. Hey, Justin, what's the change on page 2? It has a little,
There's some, you took the time out, there was 6:30 PM.
okay, right, you just took the time out, got it. It just didn't show what the change
Pretty
was.
much minor changes.
Yep,
Yeah, they're all mine.
they look all minor, it's just I wasn't clear what that one was. Oh, here's one. Deleted that, okay.
It's not like everything.
I did.
So we're on the 17th, right?
Yep. There we go. 32.
Sure. Yeah, it could be nothing, it could be.
Yeah, on that one, I had it, I think it's the, like an individual agreement.
We stayed home with this.
So I just wanna match the paragraphs.
We started out.
So this is actually interpreted. Matter remains under consideration pending, approved, yeah. Okay, so you deleted that and you went, you added, there was discussion, okay. Okay, so you, you added that small paragraph above intermunicipal agreement, with Sandisfield Ray Police, but we just need to make
Somebody
sure.
took a piece of pie.
Yeah, I know. Come take some pie, cause I can't even eat pie.
I won't let you eat alone.
So did you find his on the 17th?
I have his, but I'm.
You want me, let me
I did.
send yours. Mine are small.
Having her pie.
I've always
Take
heard
his
about it. I've never
and
had
I'll
it.
tell you mine.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so take his.
Take his,
Yep. Okay,
I'll
so-
tell you mine. On page 1,
Yeah.
the last paragraph that starts the Parks Commission,
Yeah.
I deleted what did I do? I deleted an S, trying to figure out where, because I don't have the original. Probably.
Go ahead, you gotta use your fingers.
Hang on.
Yes.
Deleted, I wish it showed you actually where you deleted the S. Proposal to replace the seasonal.
Cut me a piece. You want that? Small.
It's not.
Yeah, that's good. That's how you-
Oversee boat launch control instead of controls.
Oh, I see.
Sorry, it took a minute.
I've always heard about it. Always.
So then my next one is at the top of the next page, the second paragraph of intermunicipal agreement.
Yep.
I don't know if he kept that one or not. Yeah, that first paragraph,
What's it start with?
the board noted that sharing a police chief allows Monterey to access experienced administrative oversight, policy development, training coordination, and supervisory functions. I wanna point out, none of that is true. Right, we have those things, it allows Sandisfield to have those things, not us. And I personally would prefer to remove that paragraph.
Okay.
Um,
That works for everybody?
Are you okay with that, Justin? We can hear you, just in case you don't know.
Sorry, you can hear me now?
Yes. The second paragraph under intermunicipal agreement with Sandisfield, that says the board noted that sharing police chief allows Monterey to access, et cetera. It doesn't. It allows Sandisfield to access things, and I access those things because they're using our chief. We have those things. I kind of prefer to just remove that paragraph completely.
Which could we just change it to Sandisfield?
We could. We could.
Yeah. No, let's just remove it.
In the next paragraph, I don't recall any discussion of cost sharing formulas.
Oh, no, that wasn't.
Right, so I would like that removed.
Maybe just cost sharing. You said cost sharing?
There is no cost sharing, they're not paying
Oh,
us
there's
for
no
this.
cost sharing, that's right.
There's no cost sharing. Maybe for that, I don't know. Service while benefiting from the efficiencies of a shared arrangement, I also deleted.
Where was this?
That's, the problem is it shows that I deleted, but members emphasize the need to ensure that Monterey residents continue to receive adequate coverage and responsive service, right?
Yep. You,
I deleted the remainder.
we're benefiting from the efficiency.
We don't benefit in any way from this shared arrangement that I can see. I mean, it's possible that we might at some future time, but under the current arrangement, I don't see that there's a benefit to us. Okay. Going down in here. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Under Monterey Native Plants Group Letter of Support, you had Alan is Alan Tryon, and that's not his last
Oh, I
name.
got them. I got them backwards.
That's okay.
That's funny.
Alright, that's good. He has a couple more, I think that was the last one I had.
Everything.
Please, take anything you want, I don't know.
No, it's from Hannah.
I know, but I can't eat it. You're gonna drop it off, okay.
Oh, cool.
I'm not gonna have it right now.
Okay, good.
Great, I'm glad somebody will have some.
Okay, and Frank will drop off.
You're gonna drop it off there? Okay,
She's in the whole fire.
gotcha. Okay. I will make a motion to approve the minutes of 2/17/26 as amended.
I second the motion.
You good, Justin?
Yep.
Alright. All in favor?
Yes, I am.
Yes?
Justin, yes.
Okay. Alright, the 24th. Look, please.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we both got that one. Alright. No plan.
Did you get my change in there?
In where?
In
What
the
change?
24th?
Um,
I sent it out the last
okay,
quarter.
let's see. What was your change? Do you have it?
I added this, here, it says Frank spelled there.
So Justin, Frank had a change on the 24th after the, comes in after the end of the last paragraph on the first page. Or at the
Yeah.
end of it.
I
where
saw
it
that.
ends- You saw his, okay.
Yeah.
So Frank inquired about the budget meeting with the fire department, whether the possibility of terminating the lease agreement had been discussed. Roger responded, the topic was raised in the meeting. Chris indicated this matter pertains specifically to the Monterey Fire Company, and know that Sean and Chris represented the Monterey Fire Company. Okay. By the way, I asked them to let us know when they're having another fire company meeting, because I think it would be appropriate to go to a fire company meeting.
I've never been to one. Have you ever been to one? No, so I think that, we should, even if it's we have to post it because we're both there, it would be good to attend one. No downside to it as far as I can see.
No,
Oh, so yours has, you even used mine already, so that's cool. So that's yours on here.
I used yours.
You used both, right?
You
Okay.
used yours.
No, but that one had a Justin too. He must have used them both.
I don't know.
He must have.
I don't know, man.
Justin Susan is really funny. Okay.
Alright, so.
You want a piece of pie?
Yes, I came in for.
Then you can.
You go.
actually talk.
And this, take this too. It's this, I'll take it back if you end up not wanting or needing it, but
Oh.
So where are we on? So we're on the 24th.
we are on the 24th. We're kind of using, I guess this is Frank's.
So you're using Frank's?
I think so.
I opened up Susan.
All edits minutes draft. I don't know who came up with that one, but it seems to have at least Justin and me on it. I don't know if it edit, and I think it has Frank, well, yeah, it has yours too.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
which one are you using?
the one that's titled 2/24/26, all edits minutes draft.
You guys have a refrigerator back there?
I do.
You want to put the last of that pie in there?
Oh, the pie we can put it here, right? Right, Jen? I'll take care of it, don't you worry.
Boy, excuse
I'll
me?
take the ice cream. I got a freezer.
Hey, back off.
I got a freezer and I know how to use it. Okay, I'm good with all the changes to the 24th.
Okay, so
Wow.
you make a motion that we, accept the minutes for 2/24/26 as amended.
And I will second. All in favor? Aye.
Justin, yes.
Good.
That was easy.
That means we're caught up with.
I know, shocking, right?
Yeah, I posted them all today too.
Sure, come on in. Yeah, go ahead.
Help yourself.
Yeah, Hannah down the street,
It smells divine.
it's really good.
Okay. I think that's all we got.
Yes.
Look at
I have
this,
one
it's
issue
7.
before we adjourn.
Go.
I don't come to one meeting and there's so much food.
Hey, we'll leave you something.
Maybe if you're nice, Frank will drop some off at your house.
You want me to drop some off? Roger may break my hands the way he's talking about it.
Yeah.
It's not legal.
Hey, there's like 2/3 of a pie there. I think you guys can share.
I
You
should
want me to
probably
drop it
do
off?
soup anyway to get better. Thank you, though.
How are you doing, Justin? Are you okay?
Yeah, it's nothing terrible. It's just a cold, and I don't want to give it to other people.
Well, that's appreciated. That's appreciated.
I think that's it for me.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen, and I assume we are meeting next Tuesday, correct?
Yeah, and then I will reach out to Sandisfield with the questions. You send that electronically.
I will do that right now.
Okay, and then we can, since we can talk to each other about a meeting, I'll find out if they wanna proceed. If they wanna proceed, we can do a meeting.
I already sent you those comments,
Yes.
so you got them
I'll
already.
do that.
What I may do is, so we're comparing, Jeff brought up a good thing about, you're comparing apples to apples and not apples to orange. Some of these questions could apply to Otis.
Notice what I said here.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Right, yeah. Yes, exactly.
Do we want
A
to?
lot of them do, and some of the others may.
Hold on, where did you say? This is Sandifield's proposal.
That's Sandisfield, but due diligence, considering ambulance budget, or under any,
Yeah,
right? So that would apply to,
yeah, because that, when
we don't have, that means at the moment, we just have to watch, but it would apply.
yeah, I think so, because, when I talked to Otis, he didn't have any capital budget. You know,
At the end of the day,
because I've been to their meetings, you know, a couple of their meetings, they're not stupid, you know, it's like.
so they
I
don't have a capital plan of
any.
any kind, you
Do
say?
you want to,
Oh, the finance committee.
Yes,
Randy did.
so I think we're adjourning, we have a meeting next Tuesday, yes? All right, so the meeting adjourned at 7:42.
all in favor?
Bye.
Good night.
Night, feel better, get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.